Hello everyone, CoinHound here. In my last video, we took a look at the iconic Buffalo nickel and the story of its designer, James Earle Fraser. In the video, I noted that the design remains popular long after the U.S. Mint ceased production of the coin in 1938. In fact, the design is a popular choice for generic silver rounds and is also currently used by the U.S. Mint as the design for the American Gold Buffalo. Today, we are going to take a look at two modern takes on the classic Buffalo design, one by Asahi and one by the Mason Mint. And before we dive into that, I do humbly ask, that if you like the video, whether a lot or even a little bit, please hit the like button. It really does help the video and it helps the channel. So I would appreciate that very much. All right, folks, so let's take a look at these rounds. I have four in front of us. We're going to start here on the left. So this is basically your standard generic Silver Buffalo round. This one is by the Golden State Mint. And, of course, it has the same, pretty much the same exact design as the Buffalo nickel did back in the early 20th century. You have the Indian head on the front. And then on the back, you have the buffalo. And you have here Golden State Mint across the top, and of course 1 troy ounce, 3/9 fine silver. So this is pretty standard. A number of mints make these buffalo rounds. They are a favorite amongst collectors. Very popular, just proving the kind of the eternal and universal nature of the design that I've never heard anyone say anything bad about. Now, in a video a few weeks back, I noted that Asahi had taken that concept, that generic Silver Buffalo round, and they had done a reverse proof of it. And I have that round here again, and I'll put a link to that video in the description if you want to check it out and take a look at this round in a little more detail. But basically, same concept, same design. It's just basically in a reverse proof. You have Asahi's logo there at the bottom. Both of the rounds so far had Liberty at the top there. And then you flip it over, and you've got the standard Buffalo design, 1 troy ounce, 3/9 fine silver. And when I did this video, this round proved to be very popular in the comments. It had a very positive response from the audience. Now, as I noted in the beginning of the video, Asahi and the Mason Mint have come out with sort of modern takes on this Buffalo design. I don't know if you call it a rebranding or a refresh, but this is the Asahi version right here. And I'm just going to let you take a look at it for a moment before I provide you with some detail on it. We'll flip it over. And then there. Now, let's take a quick look at this. Let me put it on a stand, and we will focus in. And then I'm going to talk about it a little bit, just briefly here. All right, so this is the 1 ounce Asahi Liberty Trade Buffalo Silver Round. It is 3/9 fine silver. And I got this from the Bullion exchanges. It appears to be the only place other than eBay where you can pick it up, at least that I was able to find. Now, in their description, brief description, which I'm going to provide to you here, it provides a couple interesting tidbits. First off, they say this round marks the very first release in a new series that modernizes designs from classic coinage. Now, to me, that sounds kind of exciting. So this apparently is not a one-off, but it's going to be part of a series in which they take classic coin designs and reimagine them. To me, that has all kinds of potential. And then they note the design on this Asahi Buffalo Silver round may look familiar to experienced collectors. This is because the round was modeled after the famous Buffalo nickel minted from 1913 to 1938. And as I mentioned, my previous video goes into some degree of detail on the story of the Buffalo nickel, and I'll have a link to that in the description too. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go check it out. It's kind of a neat story. The well-known design by sculptor James Earle Fraser featured a composite of 3 different Native American chiefs' busts on one side and an American bison on the other. Now, of course, when they're saying this is inspired by that design or that it is modeled after that design, they're not talking about the details. They just mean that you've got the kind of an Indian portrait on the one side and a buffalo on the other. Now, you're looking at the obverse, and it says the following. The round's obverse pays homage to Lakota chief Sitting Bull with an intricately detailed portrait. Drawing inspiration from a portrait of Sitting Bull from 1885, the round shows the respected Lakota chief wearing a traditional headdress and garb and gazing off into the distance. A traditional Sioux textile background adds a meaningful layer to the impactful design. Sitting Bull led his people through many years of resistance against U.S. government policies and intrusion on native lands. He was tragically killed during an attempted arrest at Standing Rock Indian Reservation in 1890. Okay, and so as you can see there, you have the portrait of Sitting Bull, tremendously frosted, looks very beautiful. You have the Native American design in the background. It notes the info on the round. 0.39 is fine, 1 troy ounce. And then a 2021 there on the bottom, just to the left a little bit. And now let's turn it over and let's look at the reverse side. And just check out that mirror-like finish there. That's pretty incredible. For the reverse, it notes that instead of a docile bison standing idly, a fierce bison, also referred to as American buffalo, charges across a grassy terrain with his horns pointed down, ready for a fight. Inscriptions relating to the theme of liberation surround the bison. Okay, so you got the description of the bison there. You've got the frosted finish. Look at the grass, the detail on the grass there. That's pretty neat looking. And then they have the 3 inscriptions: liberty, independence, and freedom. And at the very bottom, a tiny little Asahi logo. Definitely inspired by the original coin. It's their own take on it. I would argue it's a very well done round. Beautiful on both sides. Okay, and when I turn it on the angle, you get a little bit better of the detail on the buffalo there. Depending on how the lighting is, it can look like there's not a lot of detail, but there you see it there. Just a really beautiful. And then flipping over to this side, you get also the detail. I mean, just look at the intricacy of the headdress. That's incredible. Okay, excellent. Now, let's turn our attention to the Mason Mint and their take on the classic buffalo design. Theirs is called the Hunter. And we'll give you a little information, then we'll take a close-up look here. So this coin is made by, or minted, I guess, by the Mason Mint. I believe it's an exclusive. Yes, it's exclusively minted for Gainesville Coins. They appear to have some sort of a significant relationship there. Gainesville Coins sells a lot of the Mason Mint products. I did do a video a few months ago on the fabulous products that the Mason Mint makes. They have such a nice diversity of designs that they're putting out. And I'll put that in the description too. So all kinds of things to follow up on if you're interested. So this is their version of the Buffalo Silver Round, and they call it the Hunter. And as Gainesville notes on its website, it says the Hunter design offers a fresh, up-to-date, and artistically pleasing revitalization of the otherwise popular Silver Buffalo Round. Rather than using a static image of a bust or a stationary figure, the Hunter design captures a much more dynamic scene of a Native American warrior pulling into place a nocked arrow, preparing to fire his bow across the plains. Presumably, he is hunting a buffalo. The detail of the design is incredibly realistic. This is especially true of how these details are rendered in relief on the surface of the round in 3 dimensions. An inscription across the center of the design reads, "The Hunter," between the top of the bow and the arrow. A scene of sloping mountains fills the background. All right, so let's take a look at this. And I did profile this very briefly as part of a compilation in that Mason Mint video that I talked about. But I mean, just look at this design. The Native American, the fine detail on the feather and on his hair, the muscle toning. Although I don't know if there were a lot of people in the old days that went around with six-packs, but still looks pretty neat. You have the arrow, and then in the background, the sky. Just look at the way the light glints off of those clouds and the mountains. So I've always really loved this generic silver round. It's one of my favorites in my stack. And now let's take a look at the back of the round, and we'll talk briefly about it and then give you a close-up. As they note, again, the design on the back of the round is more dynamic than its predecessors that inspired the buffalo theme. It presents an alternative vision of this common motif. A pair of buffalo appear on the reverse side of the round. Great attention to detail is given to their fur and the surrounding Great Plains environment. The date appears at the bottom rim, surrounded by detailed blades of grass gently swaying in the wind. The proof-like finish of the round, which imparts a mirrored effect to the field, dramatically brings out the relief details of the cloud-filled sky against the reflective backdrop. Inscriptions indicating the weight and purity are placed along the top of the rim, reading 1 troy ounce and 3/9 fine silver. So let's take a look at this up close. All right, so I guess we'll start with the buffalo. You can see just how much more fine detail there is here compared to the classic buffalo design. As they noted, the intricacies of the fur and the facial features. And then you have the second buffalo in the back, so that makes this particularly unique. It's not just one, but two. And then you have the blades of grass and the 2018. Once again, I'm just blown away by the artistry here. Some mountains in the background, and then the sky. And note the continuity between the front side and the back side. It's basically the same scene, prairie scene, with mountains in the background and some clouds in the sky, just with the Indian hunter on the one side, and then the prey, the buffalo, on the other side. And what a majestic animal the buffalo is. Or more appropriately and properly, the bison. So there you have it. 2 modern takes on the traditional buffalo design. I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and if you did, please hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear. All right, thank you very much. This is CoinHound, signing out.